Good afternoon, everybody. Namaskaram, everybody. Namaskars. And I'm Dr. Dhanraj. I'm Professor Dr. Dhanraj. I have a very strong desire to bring the Ayurvedic perspective, whatever the knowledge is hidden in the Ayurvedic sciences in relation with the COVID, the present disease pandemic. And I tried my best to bring all the knowledge. There may be gaps. I pray God that I should be humble enough to give my knowledge so that it's useful for all the doctors, health workers, and patients. So we started. So this is a Ayurvedic perspective, COVID, for COVID, and then Guru Bhyo Namah. I pray my sincere respect to all the gurus who have given me this knowledge and capability to talk over here in front of you. My plan of talk will be regarding my life in Agnihotra and COVID-19, the population losses is happening globally, and we call it as a Janapadodvamsa in Ayurvedic perspective. And same thing, it is a contagious disease, and the Ayurveda is called as Sankramak Vyadhis of perspective. And next we'll have WHO, infection prevention control and Ayurveda, definition of Swastha as per Ayurveda, then lifestyle and behavior changes and Agnihotra, then herbal immunity boosters, Ayurvedic Acharya Rasayanam, that is moral lifestyle, then Panchakarma for COVID-19 perspective, and vaccines versus herbal virucidals or antiviral drugs from herbal antiviral drugs for COVID-19 virus. Okay, this is my extent of talk which I am going to give you. So next, the COVID-19 and the population losses. This has been very clearly explained in the old text of Ayurveda. Keeping in view of the different populations, the Acharyas has thought that there could be some pandemics, endemics or epidemics. And keeping in view, they said that different types of pandemics or the different types of population losses. They did not really focus upon exclusively for the infection. Population losses could be of many causes. So they said that one of the basic way of population losses could be of Vayu. The four types they described: Vayu, Jala, Desha and Kala. Vayu is the one we have been seeing, that different types of hurricanes we have been seeing where the population losses are there, avalanches, that is a natural disasters apart from the man-made disasters. So this hurricane, avalanches, torpedoes, etc. Then comes the Jala. Jala population losses could be because of tsunami or sinking of landscapes because of global warming, etc. This is because of Dushit Jala, etc. Then coming to Desha aspect. Desha is here in sense of Desha is they focused upon the terrestrial organisms which are present on globally, and these terrestrial organisms which could really cause population losses, and population losses not only to the human losses but also the animal losses. They focused on that and they said that this is Desha type of epidemic. This involves both epidemics, endemics and pandemics. So this epidemic is a small area of infections. Small populations are affected locally. This is called as epidemics. And when coming to the whole of the continent is involved, we call it as endemic. And even the whole of the 5 continents or whole of the other continents, 5 continents are involved, we call it as a pandemic. And then Kala is one. It is a total change in the global seasons and unpredictable weather conditions. This will actually will not yet come to. Previously we have the morning and sunrise and sunset, everything going on well, and seasons are going on well. And the next step, we have gone through 1, 2, 3. Now we are in the phase of 3 with the pandemic now, but we have not come to the extent of Kala Janapadodvamsa. That is totally, the globe will lose its balance, and the rhythm of circadian rhythm and as well as the weather changes, everything will be disrupted maybe in future. That even that could be the cause of population losses. That's what the Shastra predicts about Janapadodvamsa. Then, what are the causes for this Janapadodvamsa or the population losses? It's been described. Very detailedly, they are written in Sanskrit slokas, very long sloka, and out of which it really says that all of the are unnatural ways of life. And in this, they say that there is Mritu Sushta Nashta Dharma, Satya Raja, Achara, Sheela, Guna, Janapada, the community which have lost all the basic factors, moral values of life. In such areas, we get this pandemic that has been described in the text. And regarding that, the extract from that shows that Mruga Pakshi Sangha Mrut Sushta. That means that where the animals and as well as birds are not happy, they are in a phase of dissatisfaction and ill health. And such scenarios, and also the populations living along with them, that is, they lost, these populations who lost Nashta, Dharma, Satya, Lajja, Achara, Shila, Janapada. I mean, this is a community. Janapada is a population. So in these populations where we have lost the Dharma, Satya, that's truthfulness, Lajja, shamelessness, then Achara, that is traditions, then Shila, character, such areas are generally affected with the different types of diseases involving the both animals and as well as birds. So these are the causes of appearance of the new diseases. They are the causes for the appearance of the new diseases and causes the population losses. That's what the Shastra says. The COVID-19, I coined a new word. People has called it as COVID-19, but I converted it into a word as COVID-Hata disease, because it has become so strong enough to take so many lives in the world. So instead of saying a COVID-19, I would say this, I coined it from either side, we call it as a COVID-Hata disease, because it's taking the lives like anything and without understanding the pathogenesis of the disease. And it is a RNA virus transferred from bats, snakes and civet cats. Civet cat is called as in Shastra as a Gandhamarjara cat. So it is enveloped with a fatty cell wall, enters the body through the mucosal epithelium, predominantly respiratory tract, and the causes the disease pathogenesis is especially the organ of terrestrials. As we see, the different organisms have been described as terrestrials, aquatics and as well as birds, eggs. So the terrestrials, the importance of the terrestrials is because of the presence of the lungs, and which is a major organ which gives oxygen for every cell. So every cell has to really survive for the sake of oxygen. So this oxygen absorbing organ, that is the lungs. The lungs has been the major target of the disease in this particular pandemic. It is not directly lungs, but indirectly the lungs, yes. So the coronavirus types, there are 7 types of the coronavirus being explained, especially 7 strains have been explained. That is 229E alpha coronavirus, NL63 alpha coronavirus, OC43 beta coronavirus, HKU1 beta coronavirus, and MERS coronavirus, the beta coronavirus that causes Middle East Respiratory Syndrome or MERS. Then SARS coronavirus, the beta coronavirus that causes the severe acute respiratory syndrome or SARS. Then this particular one, that is SARS-CoV-2, the novel coronavirus that causes the coronavirus disease in 2019, so it is called as COVID-19 because the disease started in 2019. Sometimes the coronavirus transmissible from animals also. So the pathophysiology. SARS coronavirus is a postulation, it has been a thought that this could be the pathology of this one. So SARS coronavirus binds to the hemoglobin and releases the iron ion into the circulation. Then HP losses. The hemoglobin loses its capacity to bind with the oxygen, and this causes the resistant hypoxia coupled with very rapid multi-organ failure, because major organs which needs the oxygen they have been deprived in this way, and with hypoxia, because of hypoxia the multi-organ failure occurs. The hemoglobin that is being supplied, iron has been supplemented and globulin is supplemented. So the free iron, it circulates in the toxic, is toxic, and it causes a powerful oxidative damage to lungs. And the rate of synthesis, this also as a recouping mechanism, the body starts increasing the hemoglobins, and there will be rate of hemoglobin synthesis increase, and the iron load increases such as when the iron load increases in the blood, and this ferritin levels also increases. And this is the regarding the iron history. Then coming to the blood picture, monocytes. These monocytes are responsible, will act as macrophages to remove the engulfing the iron load from the blood and clearing the blood. So the monocytes number also increases, and this is been because to clear the extra iron load from the blood. And the lymphopenia. Lymphopenia is there as the WBC differentiation is favored towards monocyte line. The WBC differentiation, they have been focused to increase the monocyte line and rather than the lymphocyte line. So what happens, there is lymphopenia, lymphocyte reduction. Then liver injury. Liver injury due to with high ALP and the level happens, which carries the worst prognosis. And to compensate this, now people are doing hydroxychloroquine, and chloroquine has been given for these drugs. And what the main function of this chloroquine, what they say, the chloroquine just protecting the hemoglobin against the invasion by the virus. So this makes the hemoglobin to be a little bit stable. And added to it, because the major pathology happens in the hemoglobin, so the supporting the lungs with mechanical ventilation, it may not really be much effective treatment. That's what the present pathophysiologists say. Then some points to ponder. What other doctors say is use of inhaled nitric oxide, then endothelins and prostacyclins. This could remove the pulmonary vascular damage which is induced by the COVID virus. So this is background what we say regarding the pathogenesis, the pathophysiology of this one. And at the same time, this has been put forward by Mr. Muthukumar, MD, DM, Neurology from Madurai, says, sure, more research is needed to understand the exact pathogenesis, because that is the only hope for proper treatment. You cannot treat what you do not actually know. So this is the statement of him, and for which we need to have more intense knowledge and really go in the more pathophysiology of the disease to understand before we start treating it. The time of infection, grossly, what we see is day 0 when patient gets infected. For up to 5 days, the patient is asymptomatic, no symptoms are seen. Then from day 5, day 5th, the onset of symptoms will be there, and day 7, IgM will be positive. From day 7 to day 21, IgM will be positive. And day 14, IgG will be positive. IgG will be positive. Then day 1 to 28, SARS-CoV-2 and RNA antigen will be positive from day 1 to 28. This antigen, especially this COVID-2, RNA and antigens will be positive. Then day 21, IgM disappears. Then day 28, SARS-CoV RNA and antigen also disappears. So this is the micro level pathogenesis and the timeline of the infection. Phase of infection. So we need to know what is the window period also. So it is from day 0 to day 5 in the asymptomatic phase. There is no symptoms at all. And from day 0 to day 7, it's called window period. Window period means this is the time when if we do check for the investigations, the investigation will be positive. And that particular time is called as window period. So this window period is from day 0 to day 7. So only PCR is positive in this phase. That is polymerase chain reaction. In day 14 to day 21, there is a decline phase with signs and symptoms, but the patient is still infective. And day 21 to day 28 is called as convalescence phase. Still, this patient is infected to other people. Yes. So this is something information which you got it from the SARS, etc. So this says that from day 0 to day 5 is asymptomatic stage, and from day 15 when the symptom starts till 14, that is the 14th day, all the symptoms are present. And again from 14th day, it slowly the decline stage will be there for 1 week, and next week is a convalescence period from 21 to 28 days. During this period, the various blood changes what we see is actually the blue line indicates the progress of the disease from the high peak at the 14th day and slowly comes down to the 28th day. The green line shows from 7th day IgM becomes detectable and stops, completely comes down by 21st day. And day 14, we find the IgG which increases and slowly and continues even in spite of after 28 days also. So this will really help for the whether to go for rapid test or not, etc. This is the right time periods in which one can decide whether to go for different types of tests. So during the window period, 1 to 7 days, the qualities PCRs are positive. Then the case definition. The case definition says the patient with an acute respiratory illness and have been in close contact with a confirmed or probable COVID-19 case in last 14 days prior to onset of symptoms is a real case definition. Okay, and then or a patient with a severe acute respiratory infection, fever, and at least one sign or symptom of respiratory disease, that is one sign is cough, fever, or SOB, that is shortness of breath. Then the next one is the real clinical signs and symptoms. Recently on 27th April 2020, CDC, the Center for Disease Control USA, Atlanta, has added 6 more symptoms to the COVID-19. That is, one is chills and dryness and muscle pain, sore throat, headache, loss of sensation of taste or smell. These are the 6 new signs and symptoms that has been added by CDC Atlanta of USA. And the contagion. The contagious disease in Ayurveda, what is how this contagious disease, contagion we say today, but it has been described in this olden days called as Sankramak Vyadhi. It was called as Sankramak Vyadhi. And this Sankramak Vyadhi means contagious disease. So this is a very clear sloka says that Prasangatra Gatra Sansvarsha Vishwasa Sashaya Asana Vastra Dandamalya Adulekana Kushtam Jarascha Shoshascha Netra Vishyanda Evacha Sankramanti Naragara. This is what Shushruta says, surgeon, the rest, the ancient surgeon describes the epidemic diseases as how it has been transmitted from one person to other. What are the various modes of transmission is being described in those days. And this real text is like this here, same Prasangatra, Sansparsha, Swasa, Swastansa Bhojana, Swaswasta, Sashasaya, Sha, Gan Swastra, Astra, Malya, Anlepana, Kushtam, Jarascha, Shoshascha, Netra, Vishandevash. Here we have the Shosha as now this pandemic. Kushtam, Jarascha, Shoshascha, Netra, Vishandevacha. So, Aupasargika means how the contagion spreads, or the spread of the disease of Aupasargika. So, same thing has been described in Sharakandi, various modes. Here it's a prasanga, having contacts, physical contacts, gatra, body to body contacts, which is now the major cause. Sansparsha, touch, now I am wearing these gloves, etc., to avoid the touch of the surfaces, etc., where the virus will dwell. So, Sansparsha, then we have this Sashaya, Sahabhojana, eating in the same place, drinking in the same place will also contact the disease. Sashaya, sleeping in the same place, same pets, same disease will also cause. So, Vastramalya Anulepana, and also using the same clothes of the patient clothes, also linens, etc., would be contagious. And also the other toilets and toiletries, Nandamalya Anulepana, this should not be used of the patient. Then, what are different diseases? Kushtam, Jwara, fevers, and Netra Vishanda, that is the eye infections, and Shoshascha, Jwaram Shoshascha. Then Shoshascha means again it's the same pulmonary infections. Opposite it spreads pulmonary infection. There is aerosol infections. In Shoshascha means all aerosol infections have been described here. So this Sankramanti from one person to other person, So they again the same. To avoid this, the present way of controlling the infection is hand washes. There's 8 steps of as shown by the WHO, the different types of hand wash methods, stages. Then social distancing 1 meter, no shake hands, covering mouth and the nose with the sneezing and coughing, face masks, N95, then noise 95. N means noise. Noise is a company which makes this, so it's called N95. So this is noise companies, NOISS noise. Noise comes with N95, and no outside food should be practiced at this time. So WHO, this is IPC is infection prevention control, and Ayurveda, and definition of this pasta is being described in Ayurveda. And also the same thing is hand hygiene, gloves, where when touching the blood, body fluids, secretions, mucous membranes, intact skin, facial protection, the eye, nose and mouth protection, gown, prevention of linguistic injuries, respiratory hygiene, cough etiquette, environmental cleaning, and linens. These are the different, that is infection prevention controls. And what exactly more describes, more information has been given in Ayurveda, especially to avoid these pandemics or to reduce the pandemics. One should practice these different types of lifestyle and behavior changes. That is, respect elders, good sleep for 8 hours, fresh food, respect all beings of the world, practice Agnihotra, sunrise and sunset. Agnihotra is like a small yavamam, which you use cow dung cakes and use cow ghee, and they put it exactly sunrise time and sunset time. The small mantra called as Surya Swaha, Surya Idam in the morning, in the evening Agni Swaha, Agni Idam. This really protects the environment as also purifies the weather. For this, we have one of the good stories from the previous, that is Vayu Janapadottam, which happened in Bhopal tragedy. Bhopal tragedy is where the Union Carbide factory was burnt down, and methyl isocyanate gas leaked from the company, and most of the people living in the Bhopal in India died, except the family which was doing Agnihotra has been saved, and this has been the international news because of the protection of the environment. This particular home, that this particular family has been saved. So we feel that coronavirus also, if you do this, the virus will not come into the house. Then practice meditation, practice yoga, pranayama, it's very good, and practice Acharya Rasana. Acharya Rasana is one of the best on it. Acharya Rasana means the moral lifestyles or moral values that has been practiced. And coming to the herbal immunity boosters. Herbal immunity boosters. What Ayurveda Acharya Rasana says. Then what are the different types of herbal immunity boosters? So what is advised is, number one is amla. Amla, that is what we say as Ushirikaya or amla, is very important. Very good tonic which gives strength for everybody. So every day morning one has to take 1 amla or 10 grams of dried amla powder twice daily. Then ashwagandha 5 grams once daily with milk is a very good rejuvenator. Ashwagandha, and it's all available locally everywhere throughout India. And the next is Shatavari. Shatavari also 5 grams once daily with milk. Once daily for every day this is taken. Pipali is 2 grams twice a week with honey. That really removes all the infection and also increases the metabolic power of the body and immunity of the body. And Ballataka is 2 grams, Silicarpus anacardium is 2 grams once per day on alternate days, especially keeping in view of the summer. This has to be used for immunity boosting. Then Uduchi Sattva, this is Stenospora cardifolia. Sattva is this plant is made into small pieces and soak the water overnight. After overnight period, all the sticks are fine powders can come in the water that is called as sattva or Guruchi sattva or Tinaspora polyphenoid extract. And this can be taken 3 grams once daily in honey. Then cow milk 200 ml daily. Cow ghee, this is especially desi cow, that is 5 to 10 grams of milk. That it has been indicated very clearly in the old text that during this pandemic period, one is advised to take, as well whenever he wants to take water, he should only consume hot water or warm water whenever it is required. So these are some of the immune boosting methods, a simple one, very economic, very easily available and could be easily followed throughout India and globally also it is available. Then Panchakarma. This Panchakarma, what this text says that if the disease is not being cured, if you got a strong disease, for such persons it is not do Panchakarma. This Panchakarma means we have to take out the doshas out of the body, so or detoxifying the body. So for this process, instead of going for that, the preventive aspect of Panchakarma, but especially the COVID scenario for globally, is that number 1 is Langana and Pachana. Langana means to be take minimum amount of food, do not consume excess of food what your body cannot digest. Try to take little less food than what you need for it. So that is called as Langana. And Pachana is something that you digest properly, the food, what has been taken inside. This digestion could be can take an extra digestives or can make it good walking or good inside the house or it could also be the gaseous part, but it will be exposed to sunlight, and this causes the different types of pachanas. And the best thing is to cover yourself, to protect yourself from the present COVID infection is one has to go for Tila massage, Tila Thaira massage. This is Tila massage, no? Tila Thaira massage for 20 minutes. So whole body massage that we are doing for Tila Thaira whole body massage in the mornings. That's really very good. This protects you from the virus getting stuck to your body, in the skin or anywhere else. And the next is we have this Anuthaira Nasya, Tila Thaira. Either do Anuthaira Nasya, put nasal drops, or put the Tila Thaira, put the finger on Tila Thaira and try to rub it into the nose and nostrils. Tila Thaira. Then Matravasti, Chiravala Matravasti, that is small enema, about 60 ml, 100 ml, can be 60 ml even through annual route. It is a very good immunity boosting. And Karna Purana, that is put some eardrops with Thaila, etc. Then Thaila Kavaladharma is oil pulling, that is take the oil for 1 to 2 teaspoons in the mouth and try to gargle it to the extent of 5 minutes so that your mucosa, oral mucosa and the teeth gets strength and your body will stop the invasion of any foreign organisms entering into the mucosa membrane. So next, last but not least, is a very important part. That is now the world is trying for vaccines. Vaccines developing, everybody understood that it's a time-taking process. And also, to be more scientific, these vaccines, we have seen this H1N1 infection for the vaccines, right? But though the vaccine is present, that vaccine is effective for only 1 year, and we do not add to it the vaccines, whatever we make it. We are aware that this virus is changing from day to day, time to time. There could be mutations. So once the vaccine is prepared, in spite of 80% long period, if the vaccine again, if the virus changes its structure or the mutation takes place, the vaccine prepared will not be that useful or that productive. It will not give that production. So for that, we have a very best method is try to identify some herbal antivirals which are biologically safe to human beings. So antiviral drugs. So I have listed out some of the antiviral drugs, herbal drugs from the texts, different texts on which different experiments have been done in the past for these herbal drugs on the viruses. Because COVID virus is a new virus, but the previous viruses, that is even DNA viruses and RNA viruses, they have done a great work on this and have tried to identify those herbal drugs where the experiments have been done and proved that they work as antiviral. Now it's a time for us to take a U-turn and see whether these herbal drugs could be really useful for this COVID virus or not. So number one here, what is Nimba? That is Azarita indica, very Azarita. Reference as given as Kandurna, Tiptana, etc. And this is one of the good antiviral drug, antiviral herb available globally everywhere now. This is called as an Indian plant in Africa. I work in Africa and I found that people call this Nimba as an Indian plant. And this is immunostimulant activity. Aqueous extracts, the bark and the leaves have got evidence that both humoral and cell-mediated response. This has been, work has been done by Vander et al. In 1887 and 1899. Sen et al. Also says that it's an immunostimulant. So this can be used now. And the next one, this is a picture of the Nimba. Everybody is familiar with this. And then next is Jyotishmati. This is Celestus aniculatus. This is one of the wonder drug which is really very good. Especially we find this as a new symptom that has been added, the loss of smell, loss of taste, headache, it's all nervous point of view. So this Jyotishmati has got antiviral activity. It is in two dairy parts. They are found to possess an antiviral activity against Ranicate disease virus in 1969. It has been proved. So now this Ranicate disease is an RNA virus and COVID-19 is also RNA virus. So we can really start to work on the Jyotishmati. Also, the picture of this one is this one, Jyotishmati plant. This leaf extracts, fruit one, especially the seed extract, seed oil are very useful. One is Shigaru, Moringa oleifera drumstick. Drumstick. We know that it is an immunobooster. We only know this is immunobooster, and every part of the plant is very useful. And it is found that this is nothing but drumstick, long drumsticks, and worldwide we use it, especially the leaves also. But the new work on this is antiviral activity, 50% only extract of the root bark. All this time we are only using the fruits and leaves, etc. But now the root bark shows antiviral activity. That is by Dhar et al. 1968. Babar et al. 1970. So these are experiments, old dated experiments that are done as antivirals. And then Lata Carangia, Christa, Bodoc, and this is from Caesariaceae family. And this is called also antiviral activity. And Anton extract stem have found to have virus having vaccinia virus, as Dhar et al. Says. So the plant structure is like this. This is the plant structure with these leaves, Lata Carangia, very beautiful flowers. Then Haritaki, very common, Harada we say. Then Terminalia cebula, family Combretaceae, and references is from Chaka, Veragna, Rakshotna, and Kasagna, see, reduces the cough, and Amlakyadi, Varushakadi, Trifalagana, and Vakota, Varushakadi, chemical constants, so many chemical constants are available here in this Haritaki. And if you go back, see these starts from phenolic compounds, ellagic acid, etc. This is the fruit, leaves of the plant, and then same Haritaki is antiviral activity has been established by T. Get et al. In 1999, very recently, antiviral activity. Aqueous extract antiviral activity for HPV virus, that is for hepatitis virus, HPV virus, hepatitis virus. Then Vivitaki, Combretaceae family, and Kasagna, again see the Kasagna Travyas, and we have this chemical constant so much, and antiviral activity, most potent inhibitory activity on ovarian myeloblastosis virus, AMV. Then reverse transcriptase as shown by Terminal Bellarica, that is Terminal Bellarica, and methanolic extracts, Kusumoto et al. In 1992. Yeah, then this is a picture of the Terminalia Bellarica. Then Lavanga, Cicinium aromaticum. Cesium aromaticum, reference lavanga includes the ingredient of Khadira indica, and this is a very common condiment used in all types of cookings at home. And this one is chemical combination. This is commonly used in all toothpaste, etc. But this is a real picture of this lavanga, the fruits of it, flowers of it, and once this end of when it ripens, it becomes the clouds. And this cloud, antiviral activity is shown by herpes simplex, and that is in 1981, and this is the reference for it. The next is Hingu, Ferula foetida. And Hingu is also got a high antiviral activity, that is gluticolin exhibited anti-polio-virus activity, which was compared to that of the ascorbate stabilized quercetin. That is Journal in Viral 1988 and 69 and 1747. Very old research has been done on Hingu, Ferula foetida, which is used in the sambar in South India. And this is a picture of this one, Hingu picture. And then next is Bringaraja, Eclipta alba, that is Astraceae family, and Charaka is also Rattapittahara and Rasayana. So Bringaraja, so an alpha extract plant has been reported to high antiviral activity against Ranicate disease. Again, this is RNA virus. RNA virus also shows. They're et al. In 1968. Then the picture of it, Eclipta alba, is this one. Leaves the common marshy places. It grows with yellow flowers. Also white flowers also available, but mostly yellow flower is preferred. Then we have this Salma, Hemidismus indicus. Salma is Hemidismus indicus, and Stanya Shodhana Dramyas, and this is called as very commonly used in most of the villages in India as well as Telangana and Andhra region. Then this is especially in summer it is used, and it has got a very good effect on the acid blood purifier. And common plant, which the roots are used. The aqueous extract of the whole plant, extract the whole plant is 0.5 mg per ml showed antiviral activity again against Ranicate disease, which is RNA virus. And the antiviral activity may be due to the presence of interferon-like factors in the plant, that is Barber et al. 1976. Salva Hemidismus indicus. Next is Mycorrhiza corova. Mycorrhiza corova is a very good drug for all types of hepatitis, and this has been got antiviral activity, especially the Picoleva, against significant protection against the hepatic damages. The leafy, the flower is this one, a very small herb grown on the marshy places, Mycorrhiza corova. Then Matla, Stereoscopic savalens. This is one of the major, very big tree, big nosing. On all forests it is available. Most of Indian forests, the North Indian forest is available. The big part is used as anti-diabetic medicine, but this has got antiviral activity, show antiviral activity in chronic diseases. And useful plants of India. From this extract, it has been shown this one. There is got antiviral activity, and the plant figure is like this. The fruits are like this. This is not the glomerous, that is the Articaceae family, but it's a different family, Stereoscopic. And I would like to show you again this one because it has got a Bignonaceae family. It belongs to Bignonaceae family. So this is the fruit. And Gambhari, Melina arbora. Melina arbora, the Gambhari is one of the major ingredients of Dashmula, has got antiviral activity. And this is in stem bar, as it shows against Ranicate diseases here. Gambhari, the plant is this one. The Gambhari is a tree, tall tree, with the fruits and flowers. The Gambhari benefits from cough problems. It has been used for cough problems in many centuries. It's not because we are choosing it because it acts in cough. We are choosing this one because it has got an antiviral activity. We need only antiviral activity. Next is Tulsi, Osmum sanctum. Osmum sanctum is being referred by all of the three big acharyas, but antiviral activity is so many studies are there. It shows that highly significant chemical biochemical clearance for viral hepatitis in 14 days by the Journal of Research in Ayurveda and Siddha in 1988. This is Tulsi. Then Drona Pushpi. This is a common, very small herb, seasonal herb grown mostly during September month, and it is used during the festivals of Ganesh, and it is a mandatory recipe to prepare a recipe with this Drona Pushpi on this festival day. And the plant is got a very good antiviral activity in the treatment of hepatitis. So this is a Drona Pushpi, and then we have Satyanashi, prickle poppy we say. It's got so many ingredients. In those days this was used for the syphilis also. Syphilis and spirochetes, it could be easily proved killing spirochetes of syphilis, the Satyanashi. It's because of the so many chemical constituents. Then it's called Satyanashi or prickle poppy. And this antiviral activity is the alcoholic extract of the entire plant showed activity against Ranicate disease. Then this is the plant, prickle poppy. Then we have Punnaga, Carophyllum inophyllum, Gotiferi family, and Danana quoted as Punnaga kesara. This antiviral activity is inhibiting HIV reverse. So this is also RNA virus. So inhibited HIV reverse. So reverse transcriptase. Then again HIV1 in cell culture. So this has been proved in the Journal of Medicine, Medicinal Chemistry, 1993. Kunnaga, the picture of this one is this one. Kunnaga has got this long leaves having this is big tree, and the leaf structure is like this. Then we have Budashankara. This is mostly found especially in the mountainous areas and Telangana areas, rocky areas. It is grown. Tiliaceae family, and this has got an antiviral activity. Antiviral activity was proved by Bakuni and et al. In 1969. So this is the Tiliaceae family, Godashakara, and next is Ambra, mango, very common plant, common tree, available everywhere. And the chemical constants of Mangifera flavonoid and the xanthanol, glycosides, Mangifera, and antiviral activity is gallic acid, puricity showed marked anti-influenza virus activity in 1982 and 97. Mangifera. Also, isomangiferin showed antiviral activity against type 1 herpes simplex virus, thyris medicine. So 1998. This mango tree I don't have to show you. The next is Jimutaka. This is Lupha echinata. This is a very rare, common seasonal creeper, mostly found in the marshy areas in Telangana south and as well as in the northern areas also. It is found very abundantly available and self-grown creeper, seasonal creeper. This Cucurbitaceae family, the plant, the fruits are orange in color and very tasty to be eaten. In clinical study of 6 patients suffering from viral hepatitis, the fruit juice of Lupha echinata reduced the bilirubin and AGPT levels and significantly within 2 to 7 days. Vidya et al. This is Lupha echinata, plant, creeper. Then last nearly when we come into some of the end of this long relation of this medicinal plants, then Amaravalli, this Cascota reflexa, is a Canoraceae family, and the reference, the chemical composition is cascotin, amaravalli, cisterol, etc. The antiviral substance containing the protein is isolated in this particular one, and it can be used Amaravalli, and this is the Amaravalli plant. Next is Bhumhamaki. It is a boon for hepatitis, this particular plant, also for all hepatic diseases and viral diseases. So this plant is extract shows in vitro anti-hepatitis and B virus, hepatitis B virus, surface antigen like activity. It is IgM1 1920-1922. This would be again tried. The picture of it is this one, Bhumhamaki, very abundantly grown throughout India, available everywhere. Then Dhurva is nothing but the grass types of two types of grass, the Cycloden and Dactylon, Poaceae family, and this has been described in the Cherka for different types of conditions, especially urinary conditions. Then antiviral activity, alcohol extract, the entire plant was found to have viral activity. The entire plant has found to have viral and antiviral activity against vaccinia virus. Dar et al. 1968. Then we have, this is the feature of Dhruva. Then Adibala, Abitul indicum, very commonly found plant, especially in tropical countries, everywhere it is found. And this one is belonging to Maravasi. This is the plant where this is the fruit of it. It goes dry and opens up and seeds outside. And this is the flower of it, is called as Bala. We have this base as for Chirabala, Thyla, everything. This is the major base for all types of fruits is used. And this is called antiviral activity. This is augmented antibody. Best drug in augmenting antibody production. Dixit 1978. Guduchi, last but not last one. Guduchi Thesporum cordifolia. Hinospora cordifolia is the one which is common creeper, found everywhere, every part of the country, and there's a very good antiviral activity, hepatoprotective activity, antiviral activity conditions, stimulating viral hepatitis, etc. And all. And this is a very good tonic also, for immunoboosting tonic also. This is the plant picture and request. So showing you, I show you 25 drugs now. Apart from it, there's so many more drugs for that. For example, we have got this Kirata Spacia Cerata, which has got a very good antiviral activity, which has to be tested. So I request the doctors, scientists, to take a U-turn from the synthetic medicine research and think of herbal preparation, like narrated above, for an vivo-virucidal medicine. Then putting all your strengths for vaccines. First, let us try this available herbal medicines for as a virucidal or antiviral treatment or betterment of Homo sapien for the present COVID crisis. So I beg you to use all the special brains to turn your capacities to make a research on this herbal medicine to find out a herbal antiviral drug. If for this purpose, if you want us to design an Ayurvedic course for you, short-term online Ayurvedic course for modern scientists, we are ready to do it. Or you give us the course how to do the research on this virus. So this is something open on the both sides. Let us come forward to work on the research on this. And whatever the science that is available in the ancient science, let us bring to the light for the welfare of mankind. Let us not wait till this particular treasure of the research is being given in Ayurveda, which stays in the books only, and somebody invades it, some other country people knows it. It will be really a big shame on the part of the Indian scientists not to know not exploring the areas of the science that is already been given to India. So I request all the learned scientists and doctors to start working on herbal medicine. Let us work together if you want. Or you work yourself, take the guidance from us. We are ready for anything, but we want it to be for the welfare of mankind. And last but not least, namaskar, thanks. Special thanks to all the doctors and scientists who gave the info. Thank you so much.